So before we talk about Venom, we need to talk about film tiers. So on top tier cinema, like that top tier of movies, you're going to see the best acting, the best directing, the best storytelling, the best cinematography. You're going to get something that is super intentional about being good in every single category that a person can look at when looking at a film. Then there's a tier that's below that one, a genre specific tier. These movies in that genre specific tier tend to have all the strengths and weaknesses of other films in that genre. Sometimes they have the same beats, sometimes they have the same plot devices, and they can even have the same flaws as other films in the same genre. Venom: The Last Dance is in that second tier. But that's not a bad thing. Talking about the rating, on my scales, Venom 3 is good. But does that mean it's on the same level as some of the best movies of the year thus far? Things like Love Lies Bleeding or Civil War or Monkey Man. Like, no, it's not in that tier of films. And again, that's okay. Let's talk about the positives when talking about Venom: The Last Dance. I want to say that the performances of this movie are the best performances in the entire Venom franchise. The story here is not incredibly impressive, but it is miles more memorable than anything we got from Venom: Let There Be Carnage. When talking negatives about the film, the negatives are quite obvious. You know, comic book film is gonna have some super goofy moments for the sake of attempting to get laughs. Another comic book movie trope is that these movies tend to be only as good as their villain. Noel is the main villain here, and he plays the background. Most of the movie, you don't really see him too much. He doesn't really do too much. He just kind of points the obstacles toward our anti-hero. As a villain, he really doesn't move the needle, and that's a problem with the film to me. But the biggest thing that I dislike about this movie is the one thing that I have disliked about all the Venom movies thus far, and it's Tom Hardy's portrayal of Eddie Brock. I've never really enjoyed it. And what's strange is that the movie is built on, and the franchise is built on, the idea that Eddie and Venom are a symbiote and a human host, and they have this symbiotic relationship. But it never feels like that symbiotic relationship is perfected or actually done well. They always feel like they're at odds with each other. They never really seem like they are both equally in control and dependent upon one another. You just don't see it. They love each other. They enjoy each other's company. They learn to get along with each other based on their circumstance, but it never comes across like Eddie needs Venom and Venom needs Eddie in a way that it really meshes like you expect it to. Even when the action happens, and the action happens quite well here and way more frequently, I feel like, than in the last Venom film. But when the action happens, they always seem to be kind of clumsy. You know, Venom takes over Eddie's body when he's in full human form. And then, you know, Eddie has some input when they're in full Venom form, but they never really seem to be on the exact same page. And they never really seem like they use their abilities to the fullest extent that they should. All that being said, it's kind of sad that it's going out this way, because this is truly the last dance for this tandem of characters. We won't get a version of this again. And if we do, it'll be retconned or changed or multiversal in some way, shape, or form. And so I feel like the franchise never really reached its true potential like it could have if they had did just that relationship a little bit better. But that's me being critical. If I'm just looking at the movie, going in, watching it, and coming out, I'll say what I said. Venom 3 is good on my scales. But what about you? What did you think about Venom? Did you think that it was really good, like the best of the franchise? I still feel like the first one captured lightning in a bottle, felt fresh at a time when a lot of comic book movies were not feeling fresh and new. And so that one still holds a special place to me, but it is much better than Venom 2. But if you have more thoughts on it, please let me know in the comment section if you've watched this far. I thank you if you've watched this far. And that's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.